guys who, as you say, you want their opinion out there, and they say, okay, this is my reason, and it's a valid reason. But also, there's kids who just think they know better.
Oh, yes.
And they think they know everything, and so they're countermanding what the coaches are saying. And you know what? To a certain extent, there's a reason why your coaches are your coaches and your elders are your elders. They've been there, they've done that, and they do tend to know, in most cases, better than you do.
Right.
Sure.
And the U of A is dealing with one of those situations right now with the offensive lineman that we talked about yesterday, and that's an ongoing situation. And and again, apparently this is a guy who did think he knew better and broke his quarantine, and boom, he's off the team.
Right. The one thing, though, the good thing I think for Arizona, if you're going to talk about it, you better execute what you talk about.
Right.
And they did.
Right.
Listen, Johnny, this is the last time we're going to deal with this, yada, yada, and then continue it, and it still happens.
Right.
And they get no respect from the other players.
Right. And again, I don't believe that, that Grant Gunnell, the quarterback, is, I'm sure he's completely on board with what they're doing over there, but I'd like to think that if he stepped out and he went to Vegas for the weekend,
they'd call him out.
He would have the exact same consequences.
Right. We'd hope to think that, yes.
You would think.
Hey, let's take a quick break here. We're going to come back with Judy McDermott, the executive director of the Conquistadors, and also the First Tee program here on Tucson.
Listen to the live stream and find podcasts of your favorite shows at kvoi.com.
There's a place in our house.
For 70 years, Benjamin Supply has been keeping Tucson flowing. Hygiene is our business. We help you achieve extreme clean. Minimize germ spreading with a hands-free sensor faucet. Forget the paper panic with a washlet seat. And speaking of waterworks, a big thanks to plumbers for their essential efforts during this health crisis. Shop our downtown showroom by appointment. Call us at 777-7000 or see all the products online at benjaminsupply.com.
Thanks to Benjamin Plumbing Supply.
Camille Rivas Rutherford with Coldwell Banker Realty has been one of the top producing real estate agents in Tucson, Oro Valley, Marana, and Vail for more than 20 years. Let her help you find your dream home in southern Arizona. Her passion and enthusiasm for real estate has helped her become one of the most respected and trusted realtors in the area. And she was recently named a recipient of Coldwell Banker's 2019 International President's Circle Award. Camille's approach to sales and marketing and selling or buying a home is second to none. Give her a call at 520-250-5192.
It's those guys from Tucson Appliance Company, the best appliance company in Tucson.
For the month of July, we're going to donate 2% of our sales to a local charity from in-stock purchases.
Come shop at our store and work with our amazing sales team.
Dustin, David,
Ryan,
Alex, me,
and Peter. You can choose from a list of local charities for us to donate to.
The only way we can give back is if you shop local. Only at Tucson Appliance, where our low price is your priority.
With the reopening of the economy, it's back to business for Tucson, and there's never been a better time to advertise. You've probably been considering it for a while, but there's a lot of questions. At 1030 The Voice, we can help you every step of the way, from creating an effective and affordable advertising schedule to crafting your message to creating the perfect commercial with our Addy Award-winning production department. Call General Manager Patty Ruiz at 791-7208 and let 1030 The Voice get to work for you.
Trusted local news and talk all day, every day. 1030 The Voice.
Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera alongside Jay Gonzales. And now on the phone we have Judy McDermott, the executive director of the Conquistadors and First Tee. Judy, glad to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
How are things, Judy? First of all, let me apologize for not listing your credential as also still the Tucson Conquistadors executive director. I just listed you as First Tee, so
God, no worries, Jay. We're in transition, not a big deal. There's all kinds of things going on out there.
So
Don't even worry about it.
how has your life been going since you got through the tournament? You snuck it in under the COVID. So
Can you believe it? How we snuck it in? How lucky we were.
Yeah. What have you been doing since then?
It's been a whirlwind, as you can imagine. Because obviously there was only one more event after our PGA Tour Champions event, the Hogue Classic in Newport Beach, which Ernie Els won, who's a rookie on the PGA Tour Champions. And then all golf was halted, at the Players Championship, the regular PGA Tour event. And so as you can imagine, we're kind of like part of a league. We are basically you could call us a franchise of the PGA Tour and the PGA Tour champions. So we really take the lead on what the PGA Tour is doing. And Jay Monahan, who's the commissioner of the PGA Tour, he has this hotline to President Trump, apparently. And so when all this started, back in March, there was basically a conference call with all the tournaments across the nation, basically once a week, planning for what the return to golf would look like and what an event would look like without spectators and without hospitality. I mean, just everything you can imagine. Can you have the Pro-Am? Can you not? And now where everything is at with PGA Tour and PGA Tour champions is everything's basically dictated on, what the state regulations are, so to speak. So the first PGA Tour champions back is actually this week at the Allied Challenge in Michigan. So obviously PGA Tour golf's been back, and I know you guys want to talk about Michael Thompson's great win last week. But so PGA Tour champions, their first tournament back is actually this week.
Before we go to the Thompson thing, are you starting to sell? I'm sure right away, having talked to you a number of times on the golf tournament,
right.
That once it's over, you start right away for the next year, and I'm sure you're in the middle of that now?
Yeah, but it's been, a real back and forth, as you can imagine. The vendors, have programs where they have, social distancing in the skyboxes that we build, with plexiglass and all those things. So, we're honestly in a bit of a holding pattern right now. Obviously, when it got bad here in Arizona again, we had to take another look. So we're still in the planning process and all those things. We have been renewing some sponsorships, but we, to be honest, today we don't know if we'll be able to have your general daily ticket spectator. So we haven't made any big launch yet because we truly are in a holding pattern, as you can imagine.
Yeah, so I guess what you're saying is that, you guys, you just still don't know yet if by next February you'll be able to have spectators. No decisions have been made. We're just waiting to see. Is that where you guys are?
Correct. No, exactly. And it'll be dictated on what the state does, and obviously, between the Tucson Conquistadors and the First Tee of Tucson and the PGA Tour, we're going to make the right decision because safety is obviously the number one priority. But we don't know what next year will bring. And we have a concert too. So, we've talked about a virtual concert because we've had a concert for the past 2 years. And last year we partnered with the DM50. For the past 2 years we have, but last year we had a really successful concert with Lee Bryce as the headline act. And, that was on the practice range at Omni Tucson National. And so obviously that's, on hold.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things when you have lots of meetings and then you leave and you don't really feel like you accomplished a whole lot.
Right. Well, we're at the end of July, but is there sort of a time frame when you feel like you sort of have to have a pretty good idea of what you're going to do, or you're just going to wait it out?
Well, I don't know if wait it out is exact. What the PGA Tour Champions has been telling us is let's get through this first event this week. So we're going to know a lot more once the Allied tournament happens this week. We'll definitely know a lot more. Obviously we're lucky that we've basically had almost a whole year to kind of plan for this, since our event isn't until 2021. Mm-hmm. So, but, we all know that 2021 might not look, too good to have an event with 30,000 spectators for the week. So, right now, we're planning on an event with, the Pro-Am, limited hospitality, number one, making sure the players have a good experience. The darn lucky thing we have is that the tournament is broadcast on national and international television on the Golf Channel. So right. Obviously we want spectators at our event, but the blessing is people still can tune in and watch it on the Golf Channel. So.
How are you handling the other side of your coin with the First Tee? Very tentative, or whatever word you want to use, because of the kids.
Yeah, we're doing something with kids, not with big groups. We didn't have summer camps this summer. We actually did have some tournaments continuing with our Ricky Rarick summer tournaments, and then once the resurgence of the COVID happened in the state, we then canceled our tournaments. We got 3 Ricky Rarick summer tournaments in, which was great. The kids were great, and they social distanced, but we had to make a tough decision and just decided that, playing the golf tournaments was not essential. So we did discontinue the rest of the tournaments for the summer. What we're doing at the First Tee of Tucson right now is we're just doing pods. We're calling them pods, and we just have groups of 4 kids at a time with one adult coach. and getting kids through the system, that way, and through our classes. Obviously, it's not the kind of numbers we normally generate in the summer with kids, but our facility is still open with kids to come, hit range balls, and then if they are a member of the First Tee, they have something called a First Tee player card, and they actually can play El Rio golf course for free, and then they can play all the other city courses for just $1. So that's a great, perk. So that's the beautiful thing is that, golf, everybody is playing, and, but what's interesting is everybody's playing golf now, and so it's actually kind of tough to even get a tee time, even in the heat.
Exactly. Well, the golf is the one thing that's kind of kept my sanity through all of this. I've been able to play, and I've been playing a lot. And my playing partner for the most part is my son. If he needs a fourth, I get to play. And
That's awesome.
since he's with U of A sports shut down and he works for the athletic department, he's got he's got his weekends free to go play. So we've been playing pretty much once a week for several months now. So that's the one thing that's kept my sanity. Then once the tournaments got started once the PGA got kicked in, just been a fan. So been watching a lot of golf, playing a lot of golf, and it's now that baseball's on, we got some more stuff, but golf has kind of held it together for me. I don't know about for you, but it's definitely for me.
It's been great for the sport. I'll tell you a funny story. We take a lot of golf club donations at the First Tee. And a friend of mine, it was a friend of mine's aunt, to be totally perfectly honest, donated her golf clubs to us. And literally, it wasn't a week after she donated them that, believe it or not, she wanted them back because her daughter-in-law is now playing golf.
Took up the game.
Isn't that a riot?
That's great because, like I said, man, it's one thing. But you're right. The golf courses are busy. You go play and it's busy.
I was talking to Rob Palmgren over at Randolph the other day, and he said even in the middle of summer like this with the heat, they're renting clubs to people. They never rent clubs to people in the middle of summer here.
Wow. I know mine don't work. I should sell mine.
Steve, you can donate them to the First Tee.
You know what? I'm going to do that.
I'll give you a nice tax letter.
Touche, little girl.
You know what?
Touche,
I've got a bag of extra clubs over there. Every time I buy a club, I put one in this bag. I'll bring it over. I've got a,
we would love them, Jay.
I didn't know that you guys need that. So sure.
We do.
There's
no magic in there.
I'll tell you right now. There's still a lot of good hits left in all of them. Okay.
Of course. I have to tell you that it's not the tool that you're talking about.
I think Jay knows that. Jay knows that.
Oh, man.
Say, let me ask you the question. I was with Thompson, and Jay will have more questions, but does a win like that from a Tucsonan guy help with First Tee? Because do they know him? Do they follow him?
Oh, absolutely. Michael has actually hosted a tournament here at Oro Valley Country Club for several years. This year it's not going to happen, but he's had the Michael Thompson Invitational at Oro Valley Country Club for at least 5 or 6, maybe 7 years. And as you know, Susie Myers was his teacher for a ton of years, and really got him on the tour. It's really, really exciting, and he's just such a great guy. His parents have actually volunteered with us at the First Tee, so they're truly a family that truly gives back. And it's a shame that he doesn't live in Tucson anymore, but his parents do, and so we benefit in that regard.
Well, we've been in touch with his representatives, and he's said he's going to he's going to come on our show, but after the PGA, because he wants to kind of keep things as they put it. He wants to keep things normal for these next two tournaments. The big WGC tournament this week, and then the PGA. But he's promised to come on after the PGA, so we're going to have him.
Oh, neat. That's what was cute about his interview is that, he had to change his flight arrangements because he then qualified to go to Memphis this week and not go to Reno. So.
That was great. He got so emotional.
Yeah, right.
It was. I got choked up.
I know, wasn't it great?
Yeah.
And like I say, he really, really, truly is a great guy.
Yeah.
So it's very, very cool.
I mean, when these guys win, they win a tournament. It's going, okay, I won one, but to win a second one is really hard to do, and it took him a while. But you get that second one, now you feel like, a little more of a confident that you can keep doing this,
and that you belong out there.
Right. Right.
Because that's the tough thing about golf. You can watch somebody and they might have a bad swing and they hit it everywhere, and then sometimes they still beat you.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's tough to swallow.
Yeah. Good for him. We're so happy for him, and we hope he we get a chance to see him back here and doing some more of this stuff. So what kinds of things do you feel like you're going to be putting? We've only got about a minute, so for the first tee, what should we be looking for from you guys as we go along, dealing with all of this?
As far as this, just continuing with our pod system, and if anybody's out there that does want to volunteer, it's very rewarding to come and coach these kids and mentor. And we really, we have all kinds of kids in our programs, but a lot of them are kids that really need some adult mentorship. And if anybody out there that's listening to your show is interested, they can get in touch with us. And at firstteetucson.org is our website, and the phone number's there and everything. And we really could use the help, because the more volunteers we have, the more kids we can help. And especially now with COVID, we're really just doing a 4-to-1 ratio with kids and not having, we don't like to have a lot of kids at one site at one time during class.
We'll get them out there, Judy, and I'll come by with my clubs.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks for being with us.
Bye-bye.
CBS News at the top and bottom of every hour. 1030 The Voice, Tucson's trusted local news and talk.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks held their gains this afternoon after Federal Reserve officials left their benchmark interest rate unchanged near zero and again vowed to use all their tools to support the U.S. economy amid a shaky recovery from the coronavirus pandemic. The Dow registered a gain of 160 points, 0.6% at 26,539. The S&P up 40 points, about 1.25% at 3258, and the Nasdaq gained 140 points, more than 1.33% at 10,542. Shares of Bank of America gained 3% after Warren Buffett's company purchased another $400 million of Bank of America stock less than a week after buying roughly $800 million worth. Boeing delayed the debut of its newest plane and slowed production across the heart of its commercial lineup as its cash burn worsened in the midst of the coronavirus. Shares were down 2%. John Metaxas, Bloomberg Radio.
CBS News Update. Even as the number of coronavirus cases levels off in some areas, deaths are increasing. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez.
For a second day in a row, Florida has broken its one-day record for new COVID-19 deaths, reporting 216 today. Over the last week, the country has averaged about 1,000 deaths a day.
Health experts are concerned that false information is hampering the effort to control the virus, including President Trump's retweet of a video about the anti-malaria drug hydroxychloroquine. Dr. Anthony Fauci.
We should have universal wearing of masks, and the scientific data to this point, this might change with other studies, but the scientific data up to this point indicate that the use of hydroxychloroquine for the treatment of COVID-19 is not effective.
CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter.
Where you bank really does matter. Hughes Federal Credit Union is proud to be recognized by Forbes as one of Arizona's best credit unions 3 years in a row. This national recognition highlights our commitment to high-quality products and services, our customer service, digital services, and financial advice. At Hughes Federal Credit Union, we offer low rates on loans, lower fees, and many free services. Make the switch. Join Hughes today. Visit hughesfcu.org/best. Certain restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Time to update those old kitchen cabinets? Call the Window Depot today. The Window Depot is not only the #1 warehouse for windows and doors, we now have a great selection of kitchen and bath cabinets at Tucson's best prices. The Window Depot is Tucson's top spot for granite and quartz countertops to finish the new kitchen or the replacement of that old worn-out Formica. So call us today at 290-8545 or 622-6430. The Window Depot, windows, doors, granite, and new kitchens.
1030 The Voice. News from inside the Beltway.
Hi, it's Hugh Hewitt on the next Hugh Hewitt Show. Senator David Perdue joins me down in Georgia, going to win re-election, back and helping on the Phase 4 recovery bill. We'll find out what's on Mitch McConnell and the Republican caucus mind when I talk with David Perdue of Georgia on the next Hugh Hewitt Show.
Weekday mornings from 10 to noon on 1030 The Voice. Trusted local news and talk.
Trusted local news and talk. 1030 The Voice.
Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera alongside Jay Gonzales. I just came up with something crazy, stupid. So the Eye on the Ball group will have to go and take our clubs out, and I'll embarrass myself. That's no question. Tom, you're not that good either, right? You play every now and again?
I played in college.
Oh,
but I haven't golfed in 2 years.
Wait a minute. When you say you played in college, did you play for a college?
Yes, I played collegiately for 1 year, and then I tore my back up so bad I didn't play for another 5.
So how good
are you any good?
I used to be.
Like how good?
Like, I don't know. My best round ever was like 75. But
well, I did that once. I mean, how many times did you do that? A number of times?
Yeah, I used to be for a long time. I was probably around an 8 handicap.
Wow. Okay. I'm impressed.
But I have not. I seriously have not played in 2 years.
Can you play?
I probably could. It would be terrible.
Well, then I'll be the one who embarrasses himself.
Yeah, but it would still be terrible. I mean, Steve, this is golf. You have to play golf to be good at golf. Like, you just can't pick it up out of thin air and be good at it.
And you know what? And even if you play golf, that doesn't guarantee you're going to be good at golf.
That's true.
Because I play. I mean, I'm playing about once a week right now, and I just can't seem to get any better. It's awful.
Well, isn't that one of those games where you kind of plateau and that's who you are?
I think that's where I think so, because I mean I did get down to an 11 handicap.
How many years ago?
Just after, well, not too long after college. I was working at the paper at the time. I got down to an 11. I did shoot a 73 at Randolph South when it was not what it is now. It was flat and easy, and it was the first round of the city tournament. I was in the 11 handicap flight, and thought I was all that. I was tied for third. Played the next day, and I shot a 98 on North. I opened with an 8 and a 7, and
but isn't that golf? Isn't that golf?
That's me.
Yeah, and I played in high school, and then I played 1 year, my freshman year of college. I actually hurt my back my senior year of high school, but of course you don't tell anybody these things. And so then it just got too bad for me to play. So I quit for 5 years, and when I picked it up again, I was terrible. And so that's kind of, Steve, we've talked about this, my philosophy of I don't keep score anymore.
Right.
I just go out and I hit my shots, and if I don't like it, I drop a ball and I hit another one. Like, I don't want to know what my number is. I don't care. I just go out to be outside now, knock the ball around, and have a good time. So that's my philosophy of golf. Putting a number on a card is not important. When I play with people and they're like, "What'd you shoot?" I'm like, "I don't know. If you want to know, you count it."
Well, isn't that your philosophy of life?
You're Chevy Chase and Caddyshack. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Be the ball, Danny.
So isn't that your philosophy in life too? You kind of have a correlation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. To a certain extent, yes, I've stopped keeping score because I've been knocked around so much. My game is so out of shape. I'm so out of shape that what's the point? Let's just try to enjoy the day.
Talk to a divorced dad. That's exactly my philosophy.
Well, I do keep my card. I do keep the number. And for some reason, the number keeps being 94. No matter where I play, it's 94.
Have plateaued,
It was a good year.
It's like 94 every time.
So what's your good number?
I want to break 90. Every time I go play, I want to break 90.
And you haven't done that in forever?
It's no, I think I did it. I did it last year sometime. I think I shot an 87 at, I believe at either Randolph North or Del Uric. You know, I can do it, and I get I shouldn't say I get frustrated. That implies that I get upset, but I just wish I could break 90, maybe every third or fourth time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to do, and I try to not break 100. If I shoot over 100, I haven't had fun because it's been really bad. Otherwise, it's fun.
You turn into my boy here, Tom.
You know, I don't get mad. I just get it's unfun if I'm swinging it like that.
That's why I don't play.
No, it is. Yeah, I mean, you put a bunch in the trees, and now you start to get annoyed about it, and that's why I don't write down numbers anymore.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I love going out to play because there's a lot of great places to play here. And you know, I was actually Tom Duddleston, our friend. You know, he tweeted out something yesterday that he went with his sons, and they played the Pines, which is that golf course up off of Interstate 10 in Cortero, in that area. And you know, people were making comments about how hot it was been and stuff like that. I'm like, that's why you can play for $35 at a great golf course if you're willing to go play at 11 o'clock in the morning or noon.
Well, you brought that up to Judy, and I didn't realize this because I'm in the cycling business of a tour now. People are you can't find bikes anymore. Everyone's riding bikes, and I didn't realize that about golf.
It's busy, and we played. Where did we play last weekend? No, I didn't play last weekend because I didn't get invited. But when we played up in Pine Top, and it was jammed. The course was jammed,
and the price is fair.
Yeah, we paid $60 to play up there, but generally in Tucson you can get on a good course, and I'm talking about a Dove Mountain, not Ventana Canyon right now, but the Pines. A number of courses, and you can get on for $40, $45 at a great golf course. Adam and I played Ventana Canyon a couple of weeks ago, and it was $60
on a normal weekend, not coronavirus. What would it be? Still,
it's going to cost you $60.
Okay, so
$60
because of what's going on.
But yeah, you can go on any one of a number of golf websites and get a tee time and play for $35 or $40. And the funny thing is that in a lot of times, the city courses and Del Uric, Randolph, El Rio, Silver Bell, those guys are so busy they don't have to drop their prices. So there are times when you can play Dove Mountain for less than it would cost you to play Del Uric.
Right.
Yeah.
You
can go up El Conquistador is up in Oro Valley is another golf course that you can get on and play for $35, $40, $45.
Their houses are close right to the.
Tucson National. You can go play Tucson National for that.
No, the houses wouldn't be safe for me if I were playing. There's just no way.
My son hit a drive at up in Pine Top that I'm sure somebody was surprised to find a golf ball, because he went on the street side of some houses. It went over the first row of houses. So there was somebody out there who was going, how did this ball get here? So, and I've been known to do that too. It happens.
Tom?
First of all, if I ever have a house on a golf course, it's going to be behind the tee box. It will be nowhere in front of a tee box.
Right, and that's the place.
That scares me. But, so it's funny you say that, Steve, but honestly, think about it. If you live there, I honestly believe those people are not surprised. If you find a random golf ball in the street, rolling down the street, like nowhere near the course, I would not be surprised, because I've seen people hook and slice balls into oblivion.
I hit a ball so far off the path at Arizona National one time that when we play there and I show people where I hit the ball, it's hard to believe. There was a street that ran perpendicular to the hole we were playing. So you got the houses that run parallel to the hole, and then there was a street going the other direction. I hit it about 4 houses down that street, and it was like, I know that person is going, I know I bought a house on a golf course, but I didn't expect to see golf balls in my yard.
Yeah, right.
Did you guys see the video going around of the guy who went and there was a golf ball in his backyard? He saw the guy and he went and laid down next to the golf ball it hit him.
He laid down and he acted like the ball had hit him. So the guy who came looking for the ball was completely freaked out because he thought he had hit the guy in the head. Because the guy he looks like he's knocked out, then he gets up and he's holding his head.
Because it shouldn't have been there. It shouldn't have been there.
No, I mean that's one of those that look, Tom is right. You can't, if you're going to buy a house on a golf course, you want to be by a tee box.
Right.
I saw a sign. It was next to a green in Pine Top that said, "Golfers are responsible for damage to property." And I'm like hell. If I hit your house, you're SOL.
Yeah.
Because you put that house there.
Right.
If you play golf for any amount of time here in Tucson at some of these golf courses, you've hit some things.
Well, the other thing is prove it. How do you know who hit that ball into the groove? It's like, who are you going to stick that on? You know.
I put a hole in the stucco on a house at Star Pass, and I'm very proud of that shot.
Don't call us. Don't call us.
It was one of those.
How many years ago?
It was actually not too long after. It was when houses were still being built out there, and it was a brand new house, and they hadn't even been moved into yet. And I hit one of those balls 6 feet off the ground. Never got more than 6 feet off the ground, just on a line at this house, and knocked a golf ball size hole into the stucco of a brand new house.
Yeah, the good thing is I'll never afford a house on a golf course. Unless the lottery comes, and I still wouldn't buy one there.
Get a third-floor condo
Yeah.
and just be out of the way.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So the NBA starts tomorrow. Tomorrow.
A couple of games tomorrow. The Lakers and the Clippers are going, and
any interest?
Yeah. You know, I've got some interest because I'm not. I'm starved for sports.
Right.
And
that's the only reason.
And here's part of it. Here's part of why I'm interested in it, because this is going to be a sprint to the playoffs. What kind of bores me about the NBA is the 82 regular season games that almost don't matter.
Totally.
So many that you don't feel like those guys play with a sense of urgency until they get to the playoffs. This is kind of the playoffs. It's 8 games to qualify for the playoffs. So I feel like this is going to be good basketball, fun to watch. They're going to be, very intense. They're, just excited as all heck to get on the court. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I'm going to turn it on.
Yeah. No, it should be fun. I'll watch occasionally. It's still tough to watch with no fans, and I don't know why that is, because it just doesn't have that feel.
I'm anxious to hear what we're going to hear.
Oh, you'll probably hear stuff, a lot of stuff. You saw yesterday on the lip reading of the Dodger Astros game.
Right. I mean, I'm sure the players have been told, guys, try and tone it down. But, once they get going, I mean, I'm anxious to hear how much, what we're going to hear when, somebody swats somebody else's shot or somebody shoots, dunks on someone, what all that's going to sound like. Because even I know there's trash talk goes on in college basketball, but even where I sit, I don't hear it, because the crowd noise and everything else. You don't hear.
And you're
the
also
trash
concentrating on your job.
I am.
It's because you rarely see a game.
But I mean, we used to all sit next to the court. You didn't hear it.
No, not so much. I mean, the craziest thing. Every now and again, you'd see them jawing at each other or whatever, but not so much.
Yeah, we hear the coaches because the coaches are standing next to us.
Right, they get in a conversation with you.
Exactly, and we've heard some coaches say some really interesting things to their players.
Oh, right. But, we'll talk. That'll be a different show at a different time, because I'm sure, and we haven't really kind of embraced that because basketball season. We'll talk about that because there've been some crazy guys that come through. One of my favorites has been Kelvin Sampson. He wasn't one of those guys.
I loved him
back in the day.
George Raveling was one of my favorites.
You want to get him on? I can try to get him on.
I'd love to get George on.
Okay, I'll try to get him on.
He was a fun guy.
Yeah, I miss him. I
Really
talk to him on a
guy.
regular basis when I was at the Citizen. So I'll give him a note. Maybe we'll come back and talk about the good old days.
Oh, I'd love to have him on.
Yeah.
I bet he's got
I'm sure
stories.
you have some conversations too that you can remember talking to him about.
Oh, yeah. Fun stuff.
Okay, let's take a quick break. Our final one here on 1030 The Voice.
We have lots of ideas and even some solutions. 1030 The Voice.
Being named the 2020 El Tour de Tucson dedication recipient was such an honor. I had been a part of El Tour in the past, and I know about some of these amazing names that have been dedication recipients in the past, but it was an honor to be chosen for that, not only for me, but for my organization that supports people with disabilities.
I've met so many people through the riding and through El Tour that are now some of my closest and dearest friends.
One of the things that makes El Tour, so safe and so well ran is all the law enforcement that gets involved, blocking up the roads. My favorite part of the course, on the newer course, was the backside of Pistol Hill.
I think what's amazing about El Tour is there's something for everyone's ability level. It includes the opportunity to be out there. You can even do a 1-miler. You can do something at home if you're limited to being indoors. That's what's great about it, is all abilities are encouraged. It's very inclusive.
There's a place in our house.
For 70 years, Benjamin Supply has been keeping Tucson flowing. Hygiene is our business. We help you achieve extreme clean. Minimize germ spreading with a hands-free sensor faucet. Forget the paper panic with a washlet seat. And speaking of waterworks, a big thanks to plumbers for their essential efforts during this health crisis. Shop our downtown showroom by appointment. Call us at 777-7000 or see all the products online at benjaminsupply.com.
Thanks to Benjamin Plumbing Supply.
These days, most families are concerned with having the right insurance coverage. Protecting your family, home, auto, and other valuable possessions can be challenging and sometimes expensive. Crest Insurance gives you flexible options and solutions while saving you money. Insurance is not one size fits all, and at Crest, we find the coverage that's best for you and your family. Visit us online at www.crestins.com or call us toll free at 888-881-5765.
Hey Tucson, it's me, Dave Ramsey, on 1030 The Voice. Tired of being normal? Normal is living paycheck to paycheck. Normal is student loans and credit cards. On my show, we'll teach you to be weird. We teach you how to live on less than you make, save for a rainy day, pay off debt like there's no tomorrow. Normal stinks. Weird is awesome. It's the Dave Ramsey Show. Weekdays live at 1 on 1030 The Voice. Trusted local news and talk.
This is The Voice, 1030, Tucson's trusted news and talk.
Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera alongside Jay Gonzales. You saw that the Toronto baseball team is now has a home where you're located, Thomas, and we just saw them play in Washington, right?
Right. They're the home team, but playing in Washington right now. I guess they're trying to get the Buffalo Stadium facilities ready.
Yeah. What do they have to get ready over there?
So August 11th is where they'll play their first game there, but they had to update the training facilities. They had to do both clubhouses because now in modern major leagues, both clubhouses have full training facilities, full gyms, whatever. So they had to put all that in. Plus the lighting wasn't up to current major league standards.
So who pays for that? Do they benefit from all this?
Yeah, the Blue Jays will pay for it, and that's their AAA affiliate in Buffalo. So obviously they'll benefit from it moving forward. But it's interesting. When that stadium was built in '88, it was up to major league standards completely because Buffalo at the time was in the running for expansion. But in '93, they were one of the cities passed over, and so they just kept a AAA team. But yeah,
that's why we have you here, Tom.
That's it.
They didn't have HD when that when that stadium was built, and
definitely not.
I mean, remember Arizona had additional lights put on Arizona Stadium when HD came around.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that's what it is.
Right. We have about 9 minutes. Anybody wants to call us, please do, 790-2040. Some good news with the kids being allowed to come back slowly. The freshmen, you said.
Yep. Freshmen are going to be coming back. Some more, more players coming back on campus, and things gearing up. You're starting to hear a lot of stuff on the college football side. The ACC announced today that Notre Dame's going to be a full player in the league and play a full ACC schedule. And they're trying to play an 11-game schedule starting the second week of September. The people are hanging on. They're hanging on to play, and they're scheduling games. So lots of stuff happening. Something that we just talked about during the break, and this reminds me of when the first really good player decided not to play in his team's bowl game.
Right. Mm-hmm.
A projected first-round draft pick, a cornerback from Virginia Tech, just said, "Forget it. I'm not playing." With all this stuff going on with COVID, I'm just not going to play, and I'm going to get ready for the draft.
Right.
And I'm thinking we may see some more of that.
Sure, especially the better players.
Right. Some of these guys who don't want to risk, because getting COVID, it's not just you get it and maybe you get over it and you don't die from it or whatever, but it can cause some damage.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got a career in the NFL that's at stake, you got to think about that.
Let me ask the both of you this. Given what we're seeing now, just as the season's going to start to kick off here maybe in two months, do you think that this is going to affect maybe the power conferences where they'll continue to maybe merge and have kind of super conferences?
There's been a lot of discussion of that. And, some people said, nah, everybody's going to kind of hang on. But then I think it was Stuart Mandel came out with, one of the national writers, one of the National College Football writers, came out with the idea of regionalizing the leagues a little more, where, because you've got, they are sort of regional, but they're sort of not.
Yeah.
You got some teams in the Big 12. West Virginia, they're way out on the East Coast, even some teams in the Southeast Conference, they're sort of regional, but they're not. That to make them more regional, maybe have 4 super conferences, but have them,
Could it be the Pac-16?
Yeah, that almost happened a few years ago. Let's not forget that nearly happened.
Who would come in?
I would think, you'd want to get somebody like,
Boise State?
Boise State, maybe Texas, BYU.
Texas, you think? No, they'd stay in the Big 12-ish, 12.
Yeah,
Big
maybe
16?
in the maybe sort of a Midwest type.
Well, let's say
let's say you combine some of the Big 10 with some of the Big 12.
Right.
You kind of spread it out. Here's where the issue would be: some of the teams in the East, and I'm talking about the East, not aside from like you got Penn State, you got a couple like, the Rutgers and the Connecticut's. They're not really right there.
We had the story, or you did a story about a month ago. Wheelner had talked about the guy about the merging of the Pac-10, maybe back in the day. And the biggest thing or obstacle was the education,
the academics,
and that's where I think the stickler would be.
That would be a big stickler for anything in the Pac-12, because the Pac-12. They feel like they stand above all the leagues.
The la-di-das,
in academics, and they're willing to sacrifice wins and things like that, and commitment to some of the, like football and that type of stuff because of the academics. I mean, the academics is why a program like Boise State cannot get into the Pac-12. Same thing with BYU.
Sure.
There's some teams like Fresno State's another one.
There would be very few teams if they're not already in. They're not going to get in. Basketball, Gonzaga would be perfect.
Right.
But no, football.
But the Pac-12 was willing to take Texas. They were willing to take Texas A&M. They were willing to take Oklahoma, and I think it was Oklahoma State. But they weren't going to take Baylor. And that whole thing, we talked about that on a show. That whole Pac-16 fell apart because the Texas university system tried to force Baylor into it, and the Pac-12 said, would rather kill it than take Baylor. I mean, I don't know Baylor academics from anybody else's academics, but apparently the Pac-12 didn't think it was up to their standards.
Right. So I think it's an idea that they might come up with at some point.
Look, I think that what's happened with COVID has had everybody really kind of take a step back and look at going forward, what's going to be the best thing for athletics?
The number one reason, cost
effectiveness. I mean, travel is going to have to. I think speaking of this, I think one of the things that you are going to see is that travel is really going to be seen as a place that they have to cut down. And I think you're not going to see Penn State come out and play USC anymore, or Alabama. Alabama was supposed to play USC this year. You're not going to see. Maybe you're not going to see Notre Dame come out west as much as they have, even though they've got all the money in the world. I think you're going to start to see more regionalization of the schedules, especially in basketball.
Sure.
No,
I agree.
I think that's one thing that we really are going to see.
Or even not home and homes, but neutral sites that are kind of good for both schools.
Right. Where you'll see. Like we saw a couple of years ago, Arizona play BYU up in Phoenix. Or you might see, let's say you want to play say USC wants to play Texas, they'll play them in Phoenix. That kind of thing.
Or play them in Dallas or some other people.
But I think scheduling is really going to be something that people are going to look at. For all the things, for cost, for exposure. For all the things that are coming into play.
Don't you think that we're probably also going to see a lower numbered schedule? No more 32 games or 30 games. It'll be like 24, 25, whatever.
You mean like in basketball?
In basketball.
Oh, yeah. You're going to play well, first of all, remember, the Pac-12 is going to go to 20 conference games. Was that this year?
I think next year.
It's coming up. They've already decided to do that. Maybe they're only going to play 6 non-conference games and start in late November or something like that.
Right.
Because that season keeps inching up to, it's early November. I mean, Jesus, the red and blue game is not played in mid-October.
Right.
Right.
So I think that's probably going to be the case. Less games to go to. I think, though, it helps maybe like this year's your ticket, your season ticket for the football team got better. It got better.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to get to go to the games, I'm not sure, but you have better games to watch.
I'll trade Portland State and Hawaii for, dare I say it, Cal. If Cal's the team that Arizona gets, because it's either going to be Cal or Washington State.
Right.
We saw the UCLA
schedule.
Somebody leaked the UCLA schedule and said that they've added Washington. They've got Washington.
That's not a good thing. Well, that's not a good thing for them.
I don't know. I think Washington's beatable. Washington and UCLA kind of are the same team.
Right.
Washington's got a new coach, and
UCLA
all kinds of stuff
to prove itself.
So but yeah, I'll trade those two games for a 10th conference for another. Now it's not a home game for Arizona, because Arizona already had 5 home games. So whatever extra conference game they play, it's going to be on the road.
Right. Now you just got to use those tickets to get in the building.
Well, again, Ohio State announced that they're going 20% on their capacity. 20% of Arizona Stadium is 10,000.
It's called Tuesday at Arizona. We'll see what happens. Good show today. Thanks, Judy.
It's fun for having Judy on, and Judy, I'll be by with my golf clubs, I promise.
Tomorrow we're going to have George Arias on the show.
Love to hear from him. He's got some great stuff going on with youth baseball and creating some opportunities for some kids. Anxious to talk to him.
Thanks, Tom. See you guys tomorrow.
KVOI Cortero, AM 1030, the voice of Tucson. Trusted local news.